Welcome, nation, and without further delay, part 3. Really, the short answer, the best answer I can give you is what bothers me most is not being signed either to WWE or TNA. Probably I would have followed Paul London's advice and gone with him to Dory's and gone with him to UPW and just kind of, the invitation, I would have taken it as opposed to not taking it. And I had my reasons, but if I could go back, who knows what would have happened if I had followed his advice. I would say physically about the eight or 9 month mark, I broke down. We were canceling shows with the company I was with. I was really with only one company, and I had gone to the emergency room and had stitches, and my jaw had been dislocated, and a few other things, and I decided to kind of take a break at that point just to let my body heal. And I really just didn't know if I wanted to continue to do it because I just was already getting kind of disenchanted early on. But once I went back to a show and started watching again, I really enjoyed it. And around the time that Tim Storm and I faced each other at the steel cage, about a month or two, I was really having problems with my neck. So that caused me to want to take a few weeks. I didn't really take a whole lot of time. I've never taken like an extended period, maybe 2 or 3 months, but nothing 6 months or more. So. Actually, I hurt my neck working wrestling Sabu, and it was a very simple maneuver. It was actually a belly to back suplex. It's really not even that noticeable on screen. And then I really injured it. I wrestled a 3-way. It was me, Mike Fox, and Gabe Roach. Gabe Roach gave me a brain buster, and there was nothing wrong with the way he gave it to me. It jerked my whole body. It got a stinger, and I was partially paralyzed after the adrenaline wore off. I kind of had problems, and I've had problems since. My neck injury is probably the biggest. Really, it's just jacked up, and unless I take some time or whatever, completely just heal and get rid of it, and take about 6 months off and don't do anything remotely, maybe. And go see specialists and whatnot, but that's been the biggest. I mean, I've separated both shoulders, I've broken a foot, had my nose busted, been knocked out, but 3 months, and that was just when I took the break, my first 8 months in, roughly. Aside from that, I've never taken anything longer than a month. And that's when I was working consistently. I wouldn't take any more than a month. And really, I was still part of the show. I just had a lighter schedule as far as what I did just to get prepared. Minus the job that I have now, usually to make extra cash. I was usually security at a strip club. I worked a lot of security jobs, or a lot of little odd jobs. That was pretty much it. I would say, man, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, even now, traveling to PCW when I do, you're looking at about 550, 600 miles round trip. If you do that 52 weeks out of the year, you're looking at quite a few miles. I couldn't really estimate. I've traveled a lot. There was a point where I was going from Austin to El Paso and then back, and as well as doing Dallas and Arlington and San Antonio and Austin. So when we were doing a circuit, that's when I put in a lot of miles, but I couldn't even tell you in a year how many miles I put. I know that I rarely use my SUV. I had it for about 10 years, and I put about 170,000 miles. I put the majority chunk of that when I started wrestling. Travel you usually don't get paid for. You can work it out. If you're a name, travel can kind of come within the package, but when you're just kind of an indie guy making your way up, travel's not part of it. So if you can't get paid for travel, usually what I try to do is get buddies to go with me, or try to get guys booked on the shows so we can travel together and we kind of can help each other out with expenses. But I mean, you're really, if you're on the indie scene, you're not making enough to cover it. So my average is about $60, give or take. I know that's kind of a big dismount, but that kind of varies. So I've gotten paid a lot for shows, and I've gotten paid a little bit for shows, and then for benefit shows, usually you don't get paid, depending. So there you go. No, it does not beat my day job. No, my day job pays me pretty well, and I like my day job. Oh, my dream job, if I wasn't in WWE or TNA, would be to be a writer, director of films, to be a filmmaker, or to write comic books. That would be my ultimate goal, is to do one or the other. I have some ideas in the works. I would say politics, when they're not working in your favor, would be the worst thing. It's just politics and like kind of the backstabbing. I don't run into it as much as I used to. I guess because I'm kind of in a comfort zone with where I work at and who I work with. But usually the politics are the biggest problem, besides pain and with that. And sometimes, like low payoff, or getting the whole, we guaranteed you so much, but because we didn't get so much at the door, we can't pay you as much. That can kind of suck, but the worst thing would probably be politics. I don't think there's like a worse thing. I mean, I'm pretty laid back for the most part. So all the little minor stresses don't really affect me. I like my job. I don't mind the commute to work. Traffic can kind of bum me out, but I usually have the radio or my MP3 player on. I like road trips, and I generally get along with everyone. I try to. So. I prefer the outfit I have now, which is some shorts, kick pad covers with tassels, wrist guards. I do like wearing shorts, or like bicycle shorts, somewhat, or boxer brief type. I've done trunks, I've done pajamas, I've done kind of the full spectrum, I think, with the exception of long tights, and actually I probably wore those once or twice. But if I had my preference, aside from what I'm wearing now, would be the shorts, the biker shorts. I really couldn't give you like who the second most important people or person. I mean, the most important people or persons in my life are my inner circle, are the guys that I see on a regular basis, are my close friends, that close knit group. They all know who they are. They're, to me, the most important people. I'm going to say Paul Heyman. I'm going to say Paul Heyman's probably the best booker, probably best writer as far as putting together shows, so on and so forth. I couldn't really give you who the best writer is, because I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with who. I mean, everyone says Vince Russo, but I think every company like TNA and WWE, they have a committee of people that write. So it's hard to pinpoint one. It's much like SNL. There's really hard to pinpoint who the lead writer is of that. So you know, who knows who comes up with what ideas. I mean, if you have a group, so. I was already mad at Freddie Prinze for being married to Buffy. I really don't hate that much. Hate that guy that much. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, who knows what ideas he's coming up with. Maybe he came up with the championship scramble. Who knows? Maybe come up with Adam Lee as the GM. We don't know. I'm not sure unless they put this guy wrote this. But there you go. I know, kind of try to get through as many as I can, and I'm halfway through. So be on the lookout for part 4 coming pretty soon.